You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Grim picture for Bari Weiss as CBS News ratings continue to crumble. A report based on an article by Tom Bogany. Bari Weiss and the corporate rot inside public-facing news. The numbers are the verdict. CBS News is trying to dress up failure as momentum, citing a 1% year-over-year gain for CBS Evening News. While the broader picture keeps sinking, the broadcast still averaged only 3.9 million viewers in the second quarter, its second worst Q2 on record. CBS Mornings did worse, its lowest rated month ever, below 1.7 million viewers, with the 25-54 demo stuck under 300,000 for 6 straight months. That is the story, not a rebound, not a turnaround, a collapse with a press release taped over it. Power sits with ownership, not excuses. The institutional power here sits with Paramount, CBS's owner, and with the executives who installed Bari Weiss as division head and now expect the audience to absorb the consequences. Viewers did not create this situation. Advertisers did not. The people making the decisions did. That matters because media failures are often narrated like whether mysterious, impersonal, and unavoidable. They are not. Somebody decided the strategy, the tone, the leadership structure, and the people responsible for the product. When the numbers crater, the blame belongs where the authority sits. The 1% lie. The 1% gain is the kind of statistic corporate media uses when it wants obedience without accountability. It is a technicality masquerading as progress. A tiny uptick on one broadcast does not erase historic lows across the schedule, and it certainly does not explain why the morning show is bleeding viewers in the demographic advertisers actually pay for. This is the old misdirection: isolate the least embarrassing figure, spotlight it, and hope nobody looks at the rest of the system. The source's own framing does part of that work by foregrounding a gain before admitting the larger collapse. That is not analysis. That is reputation management. What the collapse reveals, a deeper pattern, is not simply bad ratings. It is the condition of corporate journalism itself under concentrated ownership and news division managed like a distressed asset, judged by short-term optics, and steered by executives whose primary skill is surviving the consequences of decisions they did not have to justify to the public. The reported fear inside CNN over a possible Weiss takeover only sharpens the point. Employees are not reacting to a democratic process or a public mandate. They are reacting to ownership consolidation and to the prospect of another top-down reshuffle imposed on workers who did not ask for it. That is how media empires behave when content becomes a lever in a larger deal. Conclusion: the real story is institutional cowardice. This is not a story about viewers mysteriously abandoning quality journalism. It is a story about leadership that confuses management's language for legitimacy, ownership that treats newsrooms as movable parts, and a press culture that keeps calling collapse a fluctuation when it is plainly a verdict. When media institutions reward executives for preserving the appearance of control while the audience walks away, they stop serving democracy and start serving themselves. The damage is not abstract. It is built into the structure: concentrated ownership, insulated decision-makers, and the routine habit of laundering failure through optimistic numbers. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article, with the automated voice of Kristen. Thanks for listening.